In this video, I want to take you through the journey of turning this boat into this. And really, it all started way back in February of last year when my best friend, Luis Garces, who we've been fishing together for as long as I can remember, since high school, he mentioned, I've got a boat in my garage. I didn't even know he had it in there with all the stuff. Of course, it's cleaned out now, so he might hate me for sharing this video. But nonetheless, he said, I have a boat that maybe we can work with. And I said, okay, cool. What state is it in? He said, well, it's pretty rough. And so here he is with his son, and you can see how corroded and dusty and rusty, how the carpet had just deteriorated and the boards needed replacing. And so I decided to hook it up to my dad's truck. At this particular time, I didn't have a truck of my own. And so we hauled it to his place. I stripped off all of those old boards that have been sitting in the Miami heat for 13 plus years. And with all the dust from the carpet on my hands and just the taxing summer heat, or spring heat at that time, I finally got it off. I had a nice red patch on the back of my neck, spinning all day. We didn't have an awning to do this under. And so I ripped up all those boards, and you can see how I laid them all across the fence line there with a couple of the metal flaps. There's my dad's bass boat he's working on, and here it is, the Fisher boat. It's really a panfish boat, and I pretty much just scrapped it. Took everything out. You see some anchors there, a couple of the cup holders extended there, just ripped everything out. It's disgusting. It's nasty. You have some flotation in there, a bunch of excess wires. There was a radio laying in there for no reason. I have no use for a radio on this thing. And so at least it came with an extra tire, right? So we looked for the positives in everything. And so just kind of getting a lay of the land, it's missing a bunk there, a little railing. So that's something that I knew I needed to fix. And at this point, I was disgusted. Just pulling up all of the carpet was taxing, and I didn't enjoy it. This is a little clip from taking everything apart. And down in here, we found some ancient Capri Suns, some strawberry kiwi, and I can't even see what that says. Probably some lemonade. Now, this is my house, and I'm a flint napper. I also own the channel Gulf Coast Napping, and so I make arrowheads with tons of rocks. So I had to move everything around just to fit this boat in there, that we finally were able to get back to my house. Now, I said I didn't have a vehicle. There is a red Blazer there that could tow it. But of course, the problem is, well, we'll get to that. So we finally get it in, and my dog Marshall has been a trooper. Here he is just standing there with it. But feel free to watch this clip and see what I'm dealing with here. See something disgusting. So this carpet, I've already swept a decent amount. And of course the panels look good on top, but I got to carpet everything under it, including these bottom ones. And I just uprooted this one panel. Oof, bro. Not only is it disgusting on top, it's got a little crack on the other, but look what's under it. Dude, this is nasty. This will be a little cleaning project. I probably ain't gonna clean it much, but I gotta do this with the whole length of this is gonna suck. Anyways, just giving you a little update. Now, if there's any consolation at all, it's the fact that I could finally be in the shade, in my own garage, throw a couple fans on, get the dust out of my face, cool me down a little bit, and I don't have to be suffering in this heat, because it was pretty bad at that time. And so this went on for many weeks. Here, I'm just taking a little household vacuum and getting in between the crevices of the flotation and the aluminum and just trying to get a little bit of dirt. This will be covered up by panels anyways, but I'm semi-OCD, and so I figure if I can do it, I might as well do a little bit as a piece of flotation gets stuck there. So let's run through a couple photos. This just emphasizes how bad off it was. This is a Fisher, it's a '02 model, 2002, a panfish model, 16-foot boat. It was actually Lewis's father's, who had it for a long time and just didn't end up using it. And so it had low hours on the motor. But eventually it was given to Lewis a few years ago, and thankfully now I had the privilege of working on it. And of course, with it being sitting out in the sun and not being used for very much at all, of course, age just kind of took its course, as it does for all of us, you know. So I began the carpeting process after a long journey. On the left is one of the boards and panels that I cut out. And I went to Home Depot or Lowe's, I think it was Lowe's, and bought a whole bunch of plyboard. Not the cheapest plyboard, but it was like double the price of the cheapest plyboard. So it was pretty dense stuff. Plus I knew I'd be standing on it. Carpeted it up. I bought the carpet package from Bass Pro, and there you can see, finally, carpeted the boards. Now, none of those are actually fixed to the thing. I just thought it looked cool, so I went ahead and threw it up there. There's a trolling motor that came with it. I actually replaced that one. Maybe I'll show that towards the end of the video. And I knew I had to carpet over that rascal. I wasn't looking forward to that, where the throttle is and where the anchor buttons were. At this point, with the panels done, I removed all the panels and laid out the remaining carpet that was left. And so there it is. I knew that this would be a long journey. I never carpeted a boat before. And so here we go. This is the process of doing it. I kind of got all my ducks in a row, dimensions in a row. Now the back panel I paneled myself, but I finally got it covered on that left side of the boat. And I was so proud. I looked at it and I thought, oh man, finally a sign of hope for this thing. And so I also took the largest of the boards and the panels, the one that I'd be standing on, and cut out a little area for a foot pedal tray. This one I got from Bass Pro Shop online. Cut it out, got some screws, put it in. I thought it looked pretty sporty. I had never had one, but my dad was putting one and installing one in on his boat, and I thought, oh man, that would be a great addition here. I also extended that panel quite a ways. Ooh, that's a duplicate photo. Too late to edit that out now. Well, I guess you can see that it was high up and now it's positioned. Okay, now I understand why I put that in there. You can see the anchor. And again, I'll be changing out trolling motors eventually. And here's a little video just showing that, okay, finally I got all the bottom panels done. I don't know if I had them screwed in at that time. But I finally got some carpeting job done. Now, what I hadn't finished was carpeting the tops of the two seats, the front and the back. The middle didn't need it, as well as that back metal flap. So I needed to glue it, put some glue on it, carpet it down, and I hated that process. But, you know, you learn some tips and tricks along the way, so it's not too awful bad. And so ended up making a trip over to Walmart. Had to get some cheap stuff to get this boat up and running. One of them was a winch strap, because boy, the winch strap that was on there, Dad and I looked at it and we looked at each other and said, oh no, this won't work. Of course, you gotta need your little green-red light whenever it's dim, dark, or foggy. Ended up not getting these in particular, these little shrink wraps that go over your wire connections, but I did end up having to buy a lot of wiring stuff later. Of course, I needed a plug or two to make sure that I didn't fill the boat up with water. By the way, I've done that twice now, forgot to put the plug in, so we're not immune to to messing up at times. Had to get a fire extinguisher, and all of this, I was just like, ugh. Unnecessary funds, but of course it's part of it. There you see the light. I got the light turned on, and at this point I'm thinking, okay, we're getting somewhere. So we go from this to absolutely carving this joker out, vacuuming everything, which came after this, and we add a little photo. I actually didn't add this earlier, but this is a photo where we finally got the panels cut and organized exactly where we wanted them to be. and I thought that looked pretty sporty. Everything was still, the carpet was still on the bottom of the ground at this point. I mean, I knew we had a long way to go, but that was a sign of hope. And thankfully, with a lot of work, we got the old engine running. And so Dad and I took it over to Lake Oliver, which is close to us. In the meantime, I got me a new truck, a little 2019 truck. And man, ever since past few weeks, been taking it out. Marshall's been a troop with me. You can see him there on the back of the boat, and we've just had a great time. It's been a long time coming, but was able to catch plenty of bass.
You got it, boy.
A little bit.
Nice.
Marshall. You smell? All right. Pretty good one.
Good one.
With the boat finally being complete, I made a lot of different updates. I changed the trolling motor, which I'll make a video on eventually. Did a whole bunch of wiring changes and took the anchors off and put a sonar unit on there with a transducer. But I just want to say towards the close of this video, thank you to Lewis, thank you to his dad, thank you to my dad for helping out, and for all those who supported me along the way. Can't wait to make some more videos in this boat. Take care.